giving us this big plan. This is a great question from John in Canada about the infrastructure and the big demands for a lot of these commodities and creating the demand for steel. And how will it affect silver with this, because silver is a byproduct of many of these metals and used in the production?
Well, China is buying because there's going to be a recovery, or at least they think that. And so don't the others who are involved that we were just talking about. But I don't think they're going to get their recovery. Now, they may buy a great deal while the dollar is still up and the prices are still down. And that may encompass 3 or 6 months, not any longer than that. And they may get stuck with piles of inventory of all of these base metals. So, there's no guaranteeing they're doing the right thing at the right time, but they're certainly getting rid of dollars. And I think any rally in base metals will be the last rally.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, whoops, you already had that one. I got so many now. This question is in question for you, Bob. Jim appreciates your knowledge of history and how you make use of it in your forecasting. Is there a particular history book you would recommend for those trying to catch up on what happened in centuries past?
Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Gibbons. There's 7 volumes. And it'll be the most interesting reading you ever had. I read it after I had taken 4 years of Latin. And it was really exciting for me because I had read about all these wars in Latin. And so it was a great exercise. And I learned an awful lot. So that's a good place to start.
And he actually wants to start a Book of the Week club.
Well, I have people, sending me, wanting to send me stuff to read. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I had to refuse the fellow today who wanted me to do this, that, and the other. I can't do it. I'm stretched too thin now. And you got to remember, when I'm on the air, I'm reaching millions. So it's more important I'm on the air and writing than I am reading a book, even though it could be a very important book.
According to a local newspaper, Bank of America, and this would have been in Allentown, Pennsylvania, according to a local newspaper, Bank of America confirmed that a large group of employees were on a plane that crashed into the Hudson River yesterday afternoon. And you want to know if you could comment on that and on another subject about Circuit City, which we talked briefly earlier in the program, that they'll be closing at the end of February, over 560 stores.
Well, they're just a casualty, and stuff happens. And if they're bankrupt, they should be allowed to go under. And it's the same with all these banks and brokerage houses and insurance companies and General Electric and the automobile manufacturers. And that's the end of the story.
What about the bank?
What was the first part of it?
There was a group of Bank of America.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that Bank of America people were on there. All I can say is, that is the most incredible rescue I've ever seen. That pilot, his name should be put up in stars. To be able to be so cool as to land that thing in the middle of the river, and I'm sitting here watching CNBC, and everybody's out on the wings, and I didn't know they were survivors. I thought that was the people from the fire department and rescue and stuff, but it wasn't. And they got everybody out of there. It's an absolute miracle.
Yeah. But Bob, and my John from Canada called when he said this morning, he says he's been flying. He's got quite a few hours logged in flying. He says he could see one engine going out with a bird, he says, but he really didn't think 2 engines could go. And
well, I think it's possible, but it's not probable, so who knows? Maybe they were blowing the plane up.
But
they just picked the wrong pilot is all I can tell you. That guy is,
yeah.
I'll fly with him anytime.
Yeah, he also said that was an incredible landing of that flight, of that plane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I once, I was flying into Costa Rica one time. Had a similar experience, but not on water, on land. And on the airport, but all of the, it's a storm. And all the equipment was down, no radar, no nothing. And this guy had been flying in Vietnam, and then he worked for the airlines. And he says, look, we got to go in. We don't have any fuel hardly left. And we've been circling for 3 or 4 hours. And all of the weather in the entire region was that way. And he took the plane in. So, there's some people who are really good at it.
According to CNN, Slovakia has informed the EU that it will start or restart nuclear power plants within the next 12 days when their gas supplies will run out. This is due to Russia stopping all the supplies to Europe, and in order for Slovakia to join the EU on January 1st, they had to shut down all their nuclear power plants. And the winter in Europe is as harsh as what we are experiencing here in the U.S.
Well, the whole problem is not the Russians. The problem is the Ukrainians. They've been stealing the gas for years, and Russia's sick and tired of it, and they've been giving them gas at 50% off, and now they want, market prices, and they don't want to pay them. So what is the solution? Well, if they're not going to let the gas go through, if Europe wants gas, I think they should send their armies over there and occupy the Ukraine. I mean, Russia's just not going to send any. So if you want gas, go and get it. The Russians will turn it back on again, but they're not going to do it as long as the Ukrainians are in charge. Those people are crazy.
Gasoline prices are rising, but yet oil prices are going down.
Interesting. Well, of course, they're rigged. You know that.
Yeah. Let's see. That one we'll save for Monday. There's going to be a bunch of them that we save till Monday because we are
that's good.
just about out of time.
We can use them on Monday. We just appreciate them that we got some backup here.
And that shouldn't stop you, listeners, for sending them in Monday also. Because there's just a few.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming because, you guys have a different perspective on things as you listen. And, we do encourage you to send us emails. And we want to talk a little bit on Monday about what happens when, we want to sell our $20 gold pieces and buy bullion. And a little bit further on down the line, maybe, Bob, you can touch on again when we go from inflation to more deflation and when we'll want to do that, along with defining what long-term and medium-term is and holding our gold and silver coins. So we'll talk about that on Monday, so I hope you join us then, 1-800-375-4188 for your complimentary issue to the International Forecaster, and we can get that out to you. And remember, folks, today we will be honoring yesterday's prices on a $20 gold piece. I don't think you can beat that. It's like a $40 price per coin. And for you late-night listeners, you'll just have to give me a call, and we'll see what we can do to help you out depending on what the prices are. 800-375-4188. Visit our website, discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. And for emails for Monday, send us to discountgoldandsilver@yahoo.com. 10 seconds, Bob. Any final comments?
No, it's been a good week. As you said on Monday when we got clubbed, that the gold would be up by the end of the week, and we were right again.
Yes. And again, thank you, Bob, for joining us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we also offered to Dask and Wendy Wilson on Thursday, and we also thank them, too. And we want to thank you, listeners, for joining us. Until then, be safe, take care, and God